All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we've got race number 2 of 3 for Area 51 Racing League All-Star Week. Last on Tuesday night we had the IndyCars at Michigan, and see by the results there, Craig Forsyth getting the win. And saying you can see everybody's still all tight in the points here. So he's got 1 point over Jack Walls. You see, and then you got Eric Schaus there in third. Gabe Butler 4th, James Ledford 5th, and then rounding out the top 10, you've got Ryan Kelly, Charles Teed, Eric Laurie, Todd Merkel, and Brandon Passalacqua. So again, 2 more races to go to determine who will be our all-star. Or sorry, 2 races to go after, including tonight's, of course. Will determine who's going to be our our season 5 Area 51 Racing League All-Star champion. So we're getting everything underway, getting ready for tonight. Again, we got the Cup cars here at Charlotte. Scheduled distance of 100 laps, and also have to again mention 1 faster pair, so they'll have to definitely keep that in mind as well. And then we'll see how things are going to unfold for this evening. So we'll let these drivers finish up their laps, and then we will get through and get going on our starting grid. Alright, with that we have qualifying completed. So let's go and pull up our starting grid here. You see on pole position that number 94 starting P1, Maxwell Caldwell. As you see, just barely beating out that number 13 Ryan Kelly by 6 thousandths of a second. You got Brandon Passalacqua there in third, Todd Merkel in fourth, Dale Willoughby 5th, Gabe Butler 6th, Charles Teed 7th, Jack Walls in 8th. 9th through 16th, you got Kevin Fries, Craig Forsyth, Robbie Richards, Michael Spell, Bud Steele, Eric Schaus, and then you have James Ledford and Eric Laurie rounding out the top 16. And the remainder of the field here, you got Dwight Plush, Jim Brooks, and Nicholas Winook rounding out our 19 drivers for tonight's All-Star event. Again, reminder, tonight is race number 2 of the 3. So again, still 1 more race to go after this one to decide it. Went from the Indy cars on Tuesday night. Now we're going over to the Cup cars here at Charlotte at, obviously home for most of NASCAR's teams and everything like that. So kind of a fitting location for this to go. Obviously, pretty much the main All-Star track location as well up until this past year where they tried Bristol out. So we'll see what NASCAR does in that in the long run. But yeah, so that being said, we're about to get things underway. And so yeah, we're going to see who's able to get this win tonight and help their cause to try to be that Season 3 champion after the scheduled distance of 100 laps here this evening. Alright, I see the pace car is rolling off, so everybody's going to get lined up here to get things underway. Again, as I mentioned there, So you see some of those front runners in the qualifying here: Maxwell Caldwell, Ryan Kelly. Say kind of no surprise really see those guys up front. Obviously Maxwell getting the pole position, our Season 5 Area 51 Racing League champion there for the Thursday Cup Series, and then Ryan Kelly in that 13, the runner up in that one. So makes perfect sense to see those two up front. To say same thing for Brandon Pasolaco. Say we've seen him up front a lot with the Cup cars here at in the Cup Series on Thursdays. And we'll see how some of these IndyCar drivers are able to do. See Gabe Butler, one of our regulars in the Super Speedway Cup Series, same as Dale Willoughby. So those two, running a little bit different tracks on the Cup car side of things. Then we're going to have drivers like our winner on Tuesday, Craig Forsyth. He's going to have to see what he can do, get readjusted to these cars after running those open wheels, pretty much running them all season with this league. So he's going to have to kind of switch over to the Cup cars, get reacquainted with those, and we'll see how he's able to do here as well. So with that, though, pace car is going to come around here, jump into the pits, and then they're going to go on the initial start. Will be on the green flag, and it'll be that number 94 of Maxwell Caldwell, 13 Ryan Kelly leading things off here. And green flag is out, and we are underway at Charlotte. 1 lap is a scheduled distance. So we'll see how everybody's able to fare here. Tire wear, definitely going to be one to keep an eye with that right front. Don't want to abuse it. Even with the nighttime temperatures here, it's going to be still really easy to abuse that right front tire. But again, see right off the bat, though, Maxwell does not want to give up that bottom line, so that's going to be where you want to be, especially with turns 3 and 4. That being said, though, we have seen some times where that top line actually does have some pretty good momentum on exit. You see Dale Willoughby gets loose in the back. Also the 88 of Michael Spell. He had to go through the pits. He's still trying to hang on to contact within the pit wall there. So he's going to, unfortunately, that's going to hurt his chances. He's obviously going to have a pit penalty. He's going to have to try to loop it back around, probably get some damage repaired as well. Jump back to the front, though. Maxwell Caldwell did lead lap number 1. However, still trying to hold off that 23 Brandon Pasolaco early on. Saying obviously, as we've mentioned week in and week out, that number 13 of Ryan Kelly, will keep an eye on him as this run goes on, because Ryan Kelly kind of missed their long run with these Cup Series. That seems to be where he can really do his damage. Ryan's going to take a peek inside of that number 94 car, turn number 3. See if he's able to make it stick and get the power down on exit. You can see they're going to battle there off of turn number 4, and at the line, looks like Brandon's going to get the spot for the moment. But again, Maxwell gets the momentum on the top side. That's going to bring Ryan Kelly back into next, but the lead change is going to happen. So move Pasolaco up into lead in that number 23 machine. As you can see, again, holding off for the moment that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Ryan Kelly there in 3rd. And right behind them, that 81 of Todd Merkel. He's trying to keep that number 1 of Gabe Butler at bay. Charles T right there in the 6th position. And then you got the 83 of Jack Walls right there. He's in a bit of a battle here. You see the 131 Craig Forsyth, 12 Robbie Richards is right there as well. 25 of Kevin Freeze also in the mix here. So you can see pretty much there from that 83 on back. A really tight group of cars here battling hard right now for the 7th position. You see the one of Gabe Butler, he's kind of fallen off there a little bit, lost some positions there coming off that last turn. It looks like the car is in still good shape, so they may have just missed his marks there. So you missed it just by a little bit, and you won't, they'll be right after you. You see there, though, Charles Teed, he has a bit of a moment there out of turn number 2. And here comes Todd Merkel, going to try to keep that number 81 machine. But it looks like Charles gets the momentum on the top side, so I wonder if that transition is starting to change here from that bottom to the top groove, just with the way the momentum works on this track. So we have to keep an eye on that. So that's going to be a telltale, see where that preferred line is. So you see actually Gabe Butler trying to peek to the outside of that number 81 machine. Can't quite get to stick as of yet. But again, as I mentioned, these guys all jumbled together here, the 81, the 1. The 12 right there as well, the 131 of Craig Forsyth. All these guys right in it here together. Craig almost touches the wall there off of 4, but actually gets pretty good exit there off that tri-oval there. Saying looks like he's going to maybe be able to clear that 130, or sorry, the 12 of Robbie Richards. Actually, he's going to go for 2 here. He's going to jump the top line, and looks like he's going to get the 81 of Todd Merkel as well. So it looks like that top line might be starting to come in. As you see Bud Steele, he's trying to make a move. Contact between him and the 12. Bud's in the wall. It's like he's going to keep it straight, but you see other drivers here trying to react to this. Everybody's checking up, trying to stay off of each other. Somehow all actually able to stay off of one another. Keeps it green here. So it's going to obviously cost some of these drivers some track position for sure. But everybody able to keep their cars in one piece here. Charles Teed right in the mix of things here with that 13 and the 131. Also watching Gabe Butler in the 1 car. He's making some moves now as well, as we just started lap number 10 of 100. So he is going to jump to the top side. So I think everybody's starting to shift around to where they think his momentum is. And you can see they are getting really good runs here on that top side. So he wasn't quite able to get to the outside there. But I'm also watching Craig Forsyth. He's trying to work this top line as well. You see he's gotten to the door of that Todd Merkel. Now trying to see if he can get to the outside of Charles Teed as well. Charles has a little bit of a bobble there through off of 4. Able to hang on to it again there. But yeah, so again, it looks like the outside definitely starting to come in here. And say it looks like it works well, especially through 1 and 2 here. You see the drivers get a good exit there and able to really send it down the backstretch, which you see Craig doing here at the moment. Can't quite clear that 27 in turn number 3. I say it's definitely still at his door, and say if that 27 ball inches a little bit, that might give Craig the momentum he needs to clear him. And it looks like he has just done so, just about cleared up that number 27. He's going to take that spot. So Craig Forsyth up into 5th position, started 10th, so a really good start for him. Again, only on lap number 12 so far, so say he's made a big charge here as well. Say Kevin Freeze is now battling with the 81 of Todd Merkel as well. This is for the 7th position. Yes, I think Kevin saw that top side working for that number 131, so he's going to try his luck at it as well. So up front, Brandon Passalacqua still has a pretty decent gap right now over that 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Just going to depend on how aggressive they are with their tires as this long run progresses. And again, this is going to be where I'm going to watch that 13 of Ryan Kelly, watch his lap times and see what he's able to do. Because this is going to be about that time I think we're going to see him really start to pick things up. So a little further back, so you saw some of those drivers had to check up from that earlier contact there. But as Robbie Richards actually has to go through the grass a little bit, keeps it off of the 7 of Dale Willoughby, but say definitely a moment for those two there. You see Jack Walls right behind them, and this is right now for the 9th, 10th, and 11th positions here. Looks like that 12 car is going to grab that spot for the moment. Say not too far behind them is that 72 of Eric Schaus right now showing in the 12th position. Jim Brooks right behind him in 13th. So we have to go just a little further back to get to Nicholas Winook there running the top side. You see 44 Dwight Pletch as well. They're 14th and 15th. And Eric Laurie right now in the 071 showing in the 16th position. So he's kind of fallen off the draft here, but I wonder if he may have just lost a lot of momentum with that earlier incident we saw there as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. But right now, the closest battle on track is pretty much this group right here. As you can see, actually, we had some contact. You see the 27, Charles Teed here. He's got some back end damage, so we'll have to see where that came from. Let's go back and try to take a quick look, see what happened to Charles here, because you can see I lost a lot of momentum from this. So watch them as they come through turns 1 and 2. And you see he's right behind the 131 and Craig Forsyth, and it looks like he actually gets a really good run, but I think he has to check up not to get into the back of him. Unfortunately, that's where the 25 Ken Freeze, he has to react to that. And then that's where it looks like the contact between the two of them occurred. Oh, you see the 81 Todd Merkel, he gets involved as well. Actually, we are now under caution here, so it looks like it does involve the 25 of Kevin Freeze once again. Let's see that car actually running fairly slow here. So now let's actually jump forward and try to find what happened to the 25 here. So you're watching Kevin down the back stretch right now. Oh, actually right in front of him, it looks like I think I see. Actually, I don't know if it was a double bumper there. Let's take a look here. So it was the 27, the 7, and the 72 all getting together here. You see the 7 jumps to the top side. Oh, and yeah, actually the 727, they made contact. And then Eric Schaus tries to react to it. And unfortunately, say the 25 car was there. So heavy contact for both of those drivers here. And unfortunately, you see Nicholas Winook, he makes contact as well in that number 78 machine. I say he's got heavy motor damage there. And it looks like, I think, we'll go back here. I want to say Todd Merkel may have gotten through this. It was close if he didn't. Oh, yeah, you see the 78. He makes that big contact right there. You see the 44. Oh, he gets contact as well at 25. So now we're watching that 81 of Todd Merkel just squeezes underneath that 78 of Nicholas Winook. So great job by him to avoid that. And then say, unfortunately, you see the 25 and then the 72 both having that instant contact as well. So unfortunate contact for the two of them. And then you see the rest of the field here getting settled. So with that, while we were going through all of that, we just had our first set of pit stops here. Looks like Eric Laurie has stayed out for the moment. So I'm expecting we'll see him and probably the next time around. James Ledford is back on track. So he missed the grid here, but he is on track now in that number 48 machine. Unfortunately, showing 9 laps down. That being said, though, I think he's going to probably take a wave around here, and that'll get him back one of those laps. So unfortunately, it looks like we may already have a couple of retirees. We'll have to double check for sure. But I do see the 6 of Bud Steele. He's retired 4 laps down. I think he may have had a connection issue. I'm not 100% sure. But I also am showing that the 78 of Nicholas Winook has retired, at least from my screen here. Whereas Kevin Fries and Eric Schaus still sitting in the pits getting service done to their cars. So I'm actually wondering if maybe we do not have fast repairs potentially. We'll still take a look at their cars here. You see the 72 still getting sitting in the pits. I think both these guys were able to drive it back. So I'm going out on a limb and saying there may not actually be fast repairs this evening. So that might be what we're seeing here for some of these drivers. So with that, though, Brandon's able to hold on to the lead. You see there, right behind him is Maxwell Caldwell. Then you got the 1 of Gabe Butler, 13 of Ryan Kelly, and then the 5 of Robbie Richards. Those are going to be the top 5 here on the restart. Everybody pitted there, took 4 tires and fuel. And yeah, so we're going to have another lap or so under yellow. So I'm going to step away for just a moment, and then we'll rejoin here on the 1 to go. So lights are back off of the pace car. Dwight Pleasherman had topped off on that 1 to go, so he's coming out of the pits right now. Also looks like the 80 of Michael Spell did the same. He's showing as 2 laps down at the moment. James Ledford had mentioned, unfortunately, 9 laps down after missing the start of the race. That being said, though, we're going to have a little bit of different running order. Some of these drivers started towards the back, moving their way forward. Number 12 of Robbie Richards, he is now showing in the 5th position, as we mentioned, started 11th. Craig Forsyth went from 10th to 6th, and then also right next to him, that number 76 in the 7th position, Jim Brooks from 18th to 7th. So it's a good jump for him from strategy, and I'm sure a good pit stop as well. So that being said, again, going to now hand it over to Brandon Passalacqua. And again, these restarts are controlled by the leader, so once that pace car drops off the racing surface, that driver can fire off whenever he is ready, so it's up to him. And we are away, and you can see he gets a great start here. He's going to be able to easily clear that 94 Maxwell Caldwell, and he's going to lead them away off here into turn number 1. See, things already strung out pretty well here early on, so it won't be like the Indy cars. The draft definitely does play a role, but they're not going to come roaring right back onto the back bumper from the draft. However, again, that second place, third place cars, so these lead cars with the lower horsepower, higher drag, higher downforce, definitely is going to poke a pretty big hole in the air, and that's going to help Maxwell Caldwell, Gabe Butler, Ryan Kelly kind of catch back up to the back of this number 23 machine. As you can see, Maxwell Caldwell has already done so. And so immediately that 23 of Brandon Passalacqua wants to protect that inside line. Again, we've seen that outside line does have some pretty good momentum earlier. We've seen it in the run, so we'll have to see how that comes as the run goes on. But right now that 23 trying to hold off that 94 car. I also see the 12 Robbie Richards trying to put some pretty heavy pressure on that 13 of Ryan Kelly. Again, Ryan, we've talked about him being kind of Mr. Long Run, but coming out of turn 2, you can see Brandon's got just a little bit of a nose ahead, but here comes Maxwell Caldwell. He's going to peek to the inside, entering turn number 3. Almost kind of the mirror of what we saw there earlier with the 23 getting to the inside of that 94 on the first couple laps. Now it looks like Maxwell going to try to return the favor here as they come across start-finish line with 77 to go. They still stay door-to-door here at 1 and 2. Let's bring number 1 of Gabe Butler right into the mix here as well. Maxwell gets the lead. Again, Maxwell was our pole sitter for the race, so he's going to grab that spot back here. So we'll see if he's able to kind of set the pace as we saw Brandon do a little bit earlier. I think once these tires wear a little bit more, it's going to be a little trickier to pass. But again, you see both drivers here. Really, it seems like they want to protect the lead if they can, because I think that clean air definitely does a lot for these drivers. So we'll see how that's going to go as this run progresses. But Charlotte's an interesting track the way it runs here. Basically, you really take turn 1 and 2, 3 and 4 very differently. 1 and 2 you can kind of take a really late apex, kind of arc it down, try to kind of apex it towards like the middle half of the turn there. Whereas 1 and 2 you kind of would take it more as just a traditional line here. Although as you see some of these drivers here still, I think, running a little bit shallow entry. Gabe Butler doing kind of the more of that later apex like I was mentioning. But 3 and 4 though, pretty much usually you want to run that white line as well as you can. That being said, though, as we've seen, that top line definitely is showing some pretty good momentum. These top 3, though, they have checked out, though. They're about a second and a half over that next group there with Robbie Richards leading the way. Craig Forsyth now up into that 5th position. Again, I think Ryan Kelly just kind of managing his tires. He's going to try to let these guys burn their stuff up a little bit. I think that's when we're going to see him pounce. But again, he has to make sure he doesn't lose too many spots as he's trying to save those tires, because that's just going to wind up hurting him in the long run. But right now, though, still holding solid in that 6th position. See Charles Teed trying to get underneath that 7 of Dale Willoughby. So Charles was up front early, had lost a couple spots there. I think probably was getting some of that damage fixed on that number 27 machine. So right now showing right around the 10th position, fighting with that number 7 for that spot. Right now, though, Dale definitely not giving up the top very easily here as they come around through the trial here. As again, we're on lap number 29, 72 still laps remaining in the race. And now Charles is able to clear that number 7. That will put him now in the top 10. And also watching that 12 of Robbie Richards, he has closed the gap here to the leaders. As you can see, back again, fight for the lead between that 94 and the 23 car. Almost contact there off of turn 2 between the two of them. Looks like they keep it pointing in the right direction. I would say very close call though between them. I'm sure it definitely caught Gabe Butler's attention there as well. But yeah, so Robbie Richards are making a big charge here. Close that gap from that 2.5 seconds or so back. So now let's see if he's able to find anywhere to take this momentum. Oh, again, almost contact off of turn number 4 again between the two. I'll say again, this time just the roles reversed there. The 23 on the inside, 94 on the outside. So they're definitely working hard here. And I'll say, you mentioned Ryan Kelly has been able to get back around the 131 Craig Forsyth. So move Ryan back up into the 5th position. Again, as these drivers here running pretty hard here for the lead. I say they just cannot be separate from each other, still side by side. Say they're running the last about 3 or so laps at least that I've seen. I say probably more. Running these last couple laps here side by side for the lead here. You see Maxwell able to get a really nice run there into turn number 1. Gets it down to the bottom. He's going to get the exit as well. So Maxwell going to take back control of this race. Saying that's kind of that stereotypical arc move I was talking about, going from the top to the bottom there, arcing it down. We saw that work really well for him there. So he's able to keep the power down as long as he could, and then kind of get it to cut back down. So move Maxwell back into the lead here. Again, Brendan Passalacqua still right behind him in 2nd. Gabe Butler 3rd. And then again, 12th, Robbie Richards up to 4th, and saying closing that gap slowly but surely into that number 13 of Ryan Kelly. And he's got Jack Walls behind him, Jim Brooks there as well in the 7th position. And you got Todd Merkel, Charles Teed, Craig Forsyth right now rounding out the top 10. So I'm wondering if Craig may have used this stuff up a little bit in that number 131 machine. So the car looks clean. I don't see any side damage or anything like that to it, like it's showing he maybe caught the outside wall. Or maybe he just may have used those tires a little bit. Actually, now that I'm looking at his pit stop, so 10.2 second stop, I'm kind of thinking he may have taken 2 tires there for some track position. So I wonder if those 2 tires are maybe starting to give up a little bit on that car. And here comes Ryan Kelly, as we mentioned. So he's now able to grab that 4th position from Robbie Richards. See Jack Walls trying to follow through as well. So now he's going to set his sights on Gabe Butler. Looks like he's going to waste no time getting to the inside of him. Can't quite get there just enough. You saw the one had to wiggle up a little bit just to make sure he gave him some room here. So they're going to go side by side here down the back. You see the 94 Maxwell Caldwell again trying to protect the 23. So now move Ryan Kelly up into that 3rd position. So again, those last couple laps, that 13R has been the quickest car on track. So I think he's using that tire savings to its full advantage here again, as we've seen. Say Ryan Kelly kind of being Mr. Long Run here with this racing league. So that's kind of what we've seen so far. I feel like the 94, the 23, very quick on the short runs. I would say actually probably put Robbie Richards in there as well. Also has some really good short run speed. But I'm thinking that probably as this run progresses, I think that's where we're going to see that 13 start to maybe show his muscle a little bit. And then I also wonder about some of those other drivers that are kind of in this group as well. Jack Walls, Jim Brooks. I wonder if they're trying to maybe follow the lead of that 13 car, just maybe not abuse their stuff too much too soon, and try to make another charge here as well as this run progresses. As again, we're only about 20 laps or so since their last pit stop, so still a good ways to go before they would need to make a stop for fuel and tires. But again, say if you burn that right front up, unfortunately, so that just makes the car just really difficult to drive. So that's really the name of the game, especially with some of these cars, and it's just kind of managing that right front wear and right front temperature. Riding on board Maxwell Caldwell here in turn number 3. You see he still hasn't been able to shake that 23 Brendan Passalacqua, and again you can see him just painting that white and blue line there coming out of turn number 4. So that's where the grip is right now for these drivers, I think. And again, we've seen the top side does have some momentum. I think as long as you're not side by side, you pretty much want to be painting that white line. You can see that late apex get to the white line right on the exit. I'm saying again right now, unfortunately Maxwell, say what he's fighting here is that high drag, high downforce on that number 94 car, just isn't able to pull away here. Again, he's the one right now punching that hole in the air for these guys behind him. You see, Brandon's trying to figure out where he can go, where he can make a move. The problem is he has to be careful because if he loses too much momentum, as the 23 is right on the back bumper of that number 94 car, got there, but it doesn't look like he can quite get the move to get underneath him. You see Maxwell's going to run the inside line a little shallower just to try to protect his line here. Looks like it may have touched the apron just a little bit there. And again, here comes Brandon. He's going to try to take advantage of that peek to the inside line. Now Ryan Kelly's got to figure out where he wants to go in that number 13 car. And actually, say Ryan's able to get to the top of that 23. This is going to help, I believe, Maxwell Caldwell. Because now these two fight side by side. I think that's going to help Ryan Kelly or Maxwell Caldwell a little bit. As Ryan Kelly actually is going to go for 2 for 1 there. Gets a really good exit off of 2. He's going to jump to the inside of Maxwell Caldwell and see if he can grab the lead here 3 and 4. But I think Maxwell Caldwell's trying to use that momentum on the top. So you see the 13 push there through 4. Probably had to roll out of it just a little bit to avoid the contact between them. And again, this is kind of what we saw in Season 5 between these two again running for that title. Just running inches off each other, say, but just again, absolute trust between these two teammates. So it looks like Ryan Kelly, though, is going to be able to complete that pass. But again, now Ryan's going to be the one to be breaking the air in front of these guys. So we'll see what Max is able to do as he sends it into turn 3. Can't get it to stick. Washes up there. I think Ryan went full protect mode there as well. And say that's going to give momentum here to that 23 Brandon Passalacqua. Brandon's going to grab that second spot now. As we are on lap 43 of 158 still to go. And I see a bright yellow car creeping in that background. That is the 83 of Jack Walls. And I think Jack's ready to kind of have his say in this race as well. So things starting to cycle out just a little bit here. So well, as we mentioned, obviously our top 3, Ryan Kelly there in the 13 car, 23 Brandon Passalacqua right behind him, and Maxwell Caldwell there in the 3rd. Then just creeping in that picture in 4th place, though, Jack Walls again. I mentioned, Jack right now looks like last time by was one of the quicker cars on track. Quickest was actually the 23 car though of Brandon. There is kind of creeped up to the back of that number 94 machine. Sorry, number 13 machine. Same pardon me now. Kind of dropping off the back a little bit is the 12 of Robbie Richards. That's saying he's now with a fight here with that 1 of Gabe Butler, 76 of Jim Brooks right now. So it looks like they both were just able to get around that number 1 of Gabe Butler. As I also see the 81 of Todd Merkel. Looks like he just made a green flag pit stop there. So I think he might be doing some strategy on that number 81 machine. So now Jim's going to try to work over that number 12 Robbie Richards. Can't quite do it. Yeah, you see Robbie washes up a little bit. Jim looks like he has the same issue though on that number 76 car, so he can't go anywhere with that run yet. And also have to jump back a little bit to Charles Teed. He's creeping in there in the 8th position. As I jumped away, I thought I saw 76 do get to the inside of the 12, and sure enough, he is there. Can he make it stick? He got tight there off of 2. Had to get it down there. That's going to give some momentum to the Gabe Butler in the 1 car. As you can see how much momentum he lost to that number 12 of Robbie Richards. So it's a risk versus reward for sure. And so it looks like you can get to the inside, but just making that pass happen is not going to be easy here. Back to the front though, these top 3 all just right through a blanket on him basically. So you can see that 23 still doing everything he can to try to find a way to get around. So he is going to peek to the inside here through 3 and 4. Let's see if he's able to make it stick, or if Ryan Kelly's able to make the top line work. And saying there's that momentum on the top side, and that's what we were talking about earlier to see if it works. And it definitely does look like it is working. And now Maxwell Caldwell going to try to jump to the top side, keep that 23 pinned to the inside. However, Brandon there is going to power hard off of turn number 2 to try to keep that 2nd spot, and it looks like he will. So those top 3 are going to hold the same running order here at this point. Looks like Jim Brooks going back after Robbie Richards, and this time has completed the pass to move Jim now up into the top 5. That being said, though, he's got about, looks like 3 or so seconds before he gets to the 83 of Jack Wall. So he's going to be, the one kind of breaking the draft out with those guys behind him. So we'll see if he's able to do anything with his tires and everything on that one. So let's jump around a little bit more. Dwight Plush in the 44 car, showing right now in the 11th position. So about 10 seconds out of the lead. A little bit ahead of him is Eric Laurie there. Eric in the 10th position. And Craig Forsyth just across the again. I think Craig on the 2 tires, I think those have definitely not gone to plan for him. Showing right now in the 9th position. And then right now, last car on the lead lap is the 7 of Dale Willoughby, showing about 16 seconds right now off the lead. So I'll jump back to our leaders because, again, they just cannot get away from each other. Drivers who are a lap down, the 81 Todd Merkel, again, he pitted there a few laps ago, so he is running the fastest laps on the track right now. Kevin Freese 2 laps down after the heavy contact for him on the inside wall. Michael Spell 2 laps down as well in the 88. James Ledford, like I mentioned, missed the beginning of the race, so he's showing 9 laps down. And unfortunately, we do have 3 retirements from the race. Eric Schaus with that heavy damage with his crash, along with that 25 of Kevin Freese, as well as Nicholas Winook in the 28, who's in that incident as well. Saw that motor blow in that car, and the 6 of Bud Steele. All right, so we just crossed the halfway point in tonight's race. So 50 laps to go. We'll be 49 here at the line. So I'd say now the question is going to be, when can these drivers, how far can they go on fuel, and can they maybe stretch it to make it on a one-stop strategy? I said we obviously saw that 81 Tom Merkel. He pitted early there. I'm thinking he's going for the kind of the split strategy of doing 2 stops here. So I'm wondering if these other drivers are maybe either banking on a timely caution, or if maybe they just want to try to run it out as far as possible until they make their pit stop. Or if they're just going to actually try to stretch it and make it on one more stop. So they're on lap 35 of this run with the 48 to go now at the line. So again, if they can go about, 10, 11 more laps, that should split it up just about even. I think that might be the magic number that we're looking for here. Actually, I think my math is off now. I think it'd be a little less than that. Math is not my strong suit. I apologize. I do see the 48 James Ledford. He's pitting is on lap 43 laps on his run. So based on that number, I'm going to say these drivers can probably go about 7 to 8 more laps on their tires and fuel. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure, because that's going to, I think, be the telltale. So if he can go to 43, if he can go about, let's say 43, 44 laps or so, if these drivers, if they can get to that 43, maybe 42 to go just to play it safe, that might be that window for they can make it to the end here. I see that 13 has not been able to shake that 23 yet of Brendan Pasalacqua. Say Ryan Kelly still hanging on to lead, but definitely doesn't have any comfort right now in that 13 car. As again, at 23, Brendan Pasalacqua just all over the back of him. They have been able to shake off Maxwell just a little bit here. I think Maxwell, again, with that racing he was doing with that number 23, probably hurt his tires a little bit and his 94 machine. I'm saying they've also been able to shake off just a little bit that 83 of Jack Walls as well. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on some lap times. Again, Todd Merkel still running the fastest laps of the race by over a second faster than our leaders here. But again, say he's on a different strategy on the 81 machine. Lap time wise though, yeah, top 2 definitely are the quickest cars on track, followed by 3rd and 4th, all in the 30.7s, 30.8s. And it looks like for the most part, everybody further back are now running in the 31.0s. So right now our fastest cars are up front as things run here. As we are at 45 to go, 44 to go here at the line. So I think this is definitely the plan. These guys are going to try to get to that pit stop window here and then run it to the end, pending any cautions, of course. With right now Ryan Kelly still hanging on to the front, just barely though over that number 23 of Brendan Pasalacqua. You can see the 23 there getting a little bit tight. It looked like off of 4, and so you can see the gap that was able to build for the 13 of Ryan Kelly just with that one little bobble. So now about half a second between the two of them. So now the next question also is going to be, who will be the first to blink to make this green flag pit stop? Again, I think these drivers are going to go as far as they can on fuel to kind of minimize how far they have to go on the last tank of fuel. Let's say that again, though, let's say we're talking about the speed difference. If you short pit by maybe a lap or so, you'll probably gain about, I would say, 2 seconds a lap or so at this point. As their best laps right now, we're in the 28. It's like fastest lap of the race is a 28.4. I'm saying these drivers are down into the 30.7s or so. So yeah, probably about 2 seconds a lap slower at least right now on the new tires versus the old tires. So I think that would definitely come into play as well here if you want to try to do some sort of strategy call to maybe jump in front. But as I mentioned though, usually it seems like the strategy though is you want to try to pit maybe a lap or two later than your competitors, because it seems like it really pays off on the long run, even if it's just a lap or two difference, just the way everything works with iRacing. And it looks like first taker is going to be that 131 of Craig Forsyth. I think he just couldn't take those 2 tires anymore. He's going to hop into the pits here with 41 laps remaining. This time by, we're going to have 40 to go. And it looked like for a second the 23 might be thinking about pitting, but he does stay out still. So I'm watching again some of these other cars a little bit further back. Looks like everybody's still staying out as well. So Craig is going to have a couple laps fresher tires than those around him. We'll see if he's able to make the most out of them. So watching him in his pit stall, just got the left sides done, and he is down and away. Looks like for Craig it was a 14-second pit stop for him. So now we're watching the scene. I saw one peeking in there. Nope. I got faked out again. So I'll say, but here's a good comparison though. We mentioned James Ledford. He just pitted there. He's got fresh tires on that 48 machine, so he's going to be coming with some speed here. So he's able to get around that thing for Maxwell Caldwell. So let's see, where is that number 40 James Led running 29.1 compared to our leaders 30.8. So, and that's while still making passes as well. So we'll keep an eye on our leaders here and see if there's any strategies. And here they come, all 3 of them actually together. You see the 13, the 23, the 94. They're all going to hit the pits together. Oh, Maxwell Caldwell taking out the cone there on the entry. I think he's going to probably get away with it and say pretty much they're bringing the whole field in here. You see, yeah, I think I see everybody coming in. Yeah, the whole lead pack right now. So the only one who tried a different strategy right now is the 81 of Todd Merkel. I'm sorry, Jack Walls in the 83. He's going to stay out an extra lap here. So we'll see if that's going to come into play for him as this run progresses. But looks like Jack's going to hit the pits now as well. So now the question is this short pit strategy of Todd Merkel, where is this going to lead him out here? Because it should cycle him to the lead, which it does. You see Todd Merkel jump to, well, second right now. He'll be in the lead once the 83, as he cycles through past him. But yeah, so that's going to give our race lead to Todd Merkel. I believe Todd, though, will still need to pit one more time. However, as they should have cautioned him out, that's going to probably open the door for everybody. And we do have a caution, actually, as they got back going. So I think it may have, yeah, it looks like it may have involved the 76, possibly of Jim Brooks here. So I'll try to take a look to see if anybody else had anything go on there. However, I think that caution is a perfect timing here for Jack Walls. So I believe Jack's going to come out of here in the second position. However, so he's literally just made his pit stop, so he's got brand new tires on that number 83 car, and actually is showing. So let's go see what happened here to bring out this caution first off. All right, so yeah, I think we found it, and say. Looks like the throttle pedal got a little bit light for the 76 car, so they just try to goose it a little bit too much here on the pit exit. You'll see here he's going to get on it, to get back up to speed, and then just immediately breaks traction. You see, and unfortunately, it says it does that, it just sends him straight up across the track here, saying anytime there's pretty much an incident with the car up onto the racing surface, that's more often than not going to bring out a caution. Especially if there's anybody else on track around. So you can see he's immediately on the gas trying to get it spun back around to the infield here. But it looks like there was, yeah, right there you see Craig Forsyth. That was the car close enough to bring out that caution. So it's unfortunately there for Jim to say not what he was looking for. Bonus side is he will be able to get some damage repaired on the 76 machine. As I mentioned, the 81 Todd Merkel, he is going to hit the pits here. He's going to get service done to that car. I'm I'm trying to see who's cycling where right now, because I'm actually showing, I think this pit stop coming in the middle of the green flag pit cycle has really mixed up the running order here. Because right now I am showing Ryan Kelly as our race leader, with Jack Walls right now being on the tail end of the lead lap. So again, I'm trying to figure out Craig Forsyth. Looks like Craig's going to get the lucky dog there. So I think just with the timing of this yellow, I think it's really kind of just jumbled up our running order here. So Craig will be back on the lead lap. We'll probably see him come around. I would assume he'll take a pit stop and get some more tires on that machine. But yeah, so actually it looks like Ryan Kelly going to be shown as our leader. And then we've got Brandon Passalacqua second, Robbie Richards third, Charles Teed fourth, Gabe Butler in fifth, and then Todd Merkel in sixth. But as you can see on the, yeah, I'm looking at the ticker and I see, yeah, this is all jumbled up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let everything sort out here, and then we will get the running order correct. I did notice those. I believe Maxwell Caldwell, I believe he may have got trapped, may have got caught speeding on entry, or actually probably an unsafe pit entry hitting the cone. So I think that's why he is showing a lap down in that number 94 car. So definitely hurt him there. So we'll do those again. We'll let things cycle through here, and then we will get the running order reorganized here in just a moment. Alright, so yeah, so indeed lights are off on the pace car, so you can see it is going to be that 13 and a 23. And then you got the 12 there in third. Charles T there in fourth, Todd Merkel in fifth. So those are going to be our top five right now. And see, those guys are all going to be bundled together here. However, you see, it's like you don't see our sixth place position driver, which is the one of Gabe Butler. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, there's Gabe in the one car. I apologize. It's going to be Craig Forsyth. He's going to be just a little bit behind some of these drivers that are lapped down, like the 25, the 44, the 88. And we're going to have a bunch of drivers getting the wave around there, like Jack Wells, Eric Laurie, Dale Willoughby. They're all going to be back on the lead lap. But then you also see Maxwell Caldwell. He's getting one of his laps back in the 94 car. However, will still be one lap down. So his competition is going to be that 44 of Dwight Plush. Should we get another caution, he's going to need to get around that 44 machine and get himself back onto the lead lap. So yeah, so whenever these cautions come out in the middle of pit stop cycles, it really kind of jumbles the running order, and it's definitely done that here. So yeah, so say right now, the Ryan Kelly, he's going to be our leader, and he's going to determine when they want to get going here. So we're going to wait for him, and then once he gets things going, we will be back underway, and he is down and away. So Ryan Kelly going to lead the field here to the start-finish line with 32 laps to go. Say everybody can make it here to the end now on fuel. Now it's just going to be all about trying to manage those tires until they get to that point of the race. So you see that right off the bat, the 12 of Robbie Richards, he's going to try to take advantage of these fresh tires, see if he can chase down that number 13. So again, we talked about Ryan Kelly tries to not abuse his tires on the short runs. That's where he gets this huge advantage on the long runs, able to have some pretty good pace on the short run. Oh, what's easy? Robbie gets loose, able to hang on to it. He's going to go through the grass to stay off of everything. Somehow able to hang on to it. Which is going to say that's exactly the opening Brandon Passalacqua was looking for. He's going to now jump into second. See Todd Merkel, he's going to use the momentum to get up into third. And you got, again, you see more wiggles between the 80, that 12 and the 27 there. But back up front, though, Brandon's going to jump to the inside, grab the lead here as we're going to come around here for 30 laps to go. So we'll see what Brandon's able to do, if he can manage kind of the speed and the tire wear of this 23 machine to try to keep that number 13 Ryan Kelly at bay for this remaining 30 laps. See Todd Merkel there able to grab the second spot from Ryan Kelly. And this is what we talked about. We'll see Ryan, he'll kind of fall back a little bit on the initial start. But then really, once things kick off, that's where he starts to make his ground right back up in that number 13 car. So we'll see again if he's able to do it, because it's not quite a full fuel run. And we saw Ryan really start to make a charge at about 15-20 laps or so on the tire run there. So we'll have to wait and see for him to see how that's going to work out. But again, actually, one thing that is something interesting to note, though, that 81 of Todd Merkel does have slightly fresher tires than those guys around him. All these drivers who pitted there just before the caution came out, they went ahead and stayed out. Todd Merkel, though, he pitted there under that yellow, so he's got a few lap fresher tires than them. And then the other ones with fresher tires are the one of Gabe Butler, 131 of Craig Forsyth, as well as the 83 of Jack Walls. No, actually, Jack's on the same tire strategy. I apologize. So we're going to jump around here so you can see 25 Kevin Freeze. He is right now a couple laps down in the 25 car, so he's trying to get some of those laps back. So Maxwell Caldwell in the same level here. He's trying to get his lap back. Right now, he is the first car one lap down, so he is in that position to get that lucky dog should a caution come out. But I say right now, though, still has some work to do, though, to be able to get back into that lead lap. I'm also wondering if he's just going to try to see if maybe he can make a charge here and be able to get it the old-fashioned way potentially as well, because he does have a lot of pace, obviously, in that number 94 machine. As we are going to come around here for 26 laps to go. And say some of those other drivers I mentioned on the lead lap, Craig Forsyth in the 131. I think Craig maybe trying to adjust his tire wear in that number 131. We saw him abuse him on the first run. I think maybe he's trying to take it a little easier here. That way he can capitalize later on in the run. But right now, though, that 23 Brandon Passalacqua is still leading the way, trying to hold off the 81 of Todd Merkel. Ryan Kelly there still in third. Robbie Richards fourth. Charles Teed in. See again, mentioned Maxwell Caldwell right now showing in the 11th position. So he's going to try to see if he can get around Robbie Richards. That's again not for position here, but again I think he's just trying to get himself closer to the front. See if maybe he can get his lap back this way, just in case. Let's say you never know how things will turn out. So, and of course, if he can be on the lead lap, he can pit with the leaders and not have to start behind all the lap cars. That could be a really big help as well. So we'll just have to see if he can make that happen. As we see right now, Ryan Kelly starting to put that pressure on the 81 of Todd Merkel. Todd going to hold the bottom. So you can see he's actually trying to challenge Brandon Passalacqua as well. So right now we got a three-way battle here for the lead. Brandon gets a really good exit there off of turn number 2. I'll say now the 81's going to have to try to hold off that 13 as they go through the backstretch, entering turn number 3. As here comes Maxwell Caldwell again, trying to get that lap back if he can. So always you see Todd gets big loose there off before able to hang on to it somehow. Actually doesn't lose any spots or anything there, so great hands by that number 81 machine to hang on to that car and onto that second position. So you can see a little further back, looks like that 94 has gotten around the 13. And that's opened the door for Robbie Richards here. He's going to try to see if he can peek to the outside and make something happen. But so far it looks like, it looks like right now Ryan Kelly's going to hang on to that spot here. Alright, so we have 22 laps to go. You see Todd there, he wants that spot, but Brandon's not going to make it easy for him. So this is where if I'm Todd here, I maybe try that top side. We've seen the momentum work. If you can keep that car pinned to the inside, it definitely does hurt their momentum that way. So we'll keep an eye on Todd Merkel, see what he's able to do in this number 81 car. Right now, though, there's the right camera. Right now, though, Todd just hasn't found a way to sneak around this 23 Brandon Passalacqua yet. At this point in the race. But again, I have to mention, though, Todd has just slightly fresher tires than these cars around him, as he was able to pit there under that caution, whereas the rest of them stayed out when that caution came out. they had maybe probably a half a lap or so under green flag conditions. Again, he's going to peek to the inside. I think right now just trying to maybe force that 23 into a mistake, but I would say Brandon's I think going to be a hard one to shake off though right here. Ryan Kelly at 13, he's able to get back around the 94 Maxwell Caldwell. So now Ryan's got those two set. He's got his sights set for those two in front of him as we have 20 laps to go here at Charlotte. Again, this is race number 2 of the 3 for the All-Star Week for the Area 51 Racing League. So I say best points, I guess, most points out of the 3 races will be your season 5 champion for the Area 51 Racing League All-Star event. So as we mentioned there, the 131 Craig Forsyth able to win race number 1 with IndyCars at Michigan. And right now Craig showing in the 7th position, but say the points are super close with all these front runners here. So say every point's really going to matter. So hopefully Craig, again, what we mentioned, I think he's trying to take it easy on his tires, or maybe he can try to make a later charge as this run progresses. And it's one of those things you have to be careful about, because you get your last set of tires on, you're like, okay, I know I can make it to the end and fuel, so you kind of want to just go full aggressive. The thing is, that full run is still just about a full fuel run, so if you abuse your tires too much, you're just going to start plowing at the end of the run, and say that car will not turn. So that's what they're going to have to be careful about, not to abuse their stuff. You see this time around, the 81 Todd Merkel is going to jump to the top side of Brandon Passalacqua. You see him at the door. Brandon not able to clear him. That's going to give a lot of momentum here out of 4 for the 81 car. And as they move Todd Merkel now into the lead here, as we have 17 to go. As Ryan Kelly is going to try to waste no time. He's going to try to jump underneath that that number 23. So what Todd's going to be hoping for now is that he wants these two drivers to race as hard as possible with each other, kind of keep hurting their tires up a little bit. But actually, let's say Ryan Kelly able to make a big dive there into turn number 3, and I don't think Brandon's going to have anything for him here. So say Ryan Kelly now back up into that 2nd position. As we mentioned, this is about that lap 20 or so mark. This is where that 13 car really starts to kind of show his muscle and kind of show what he's able to do to save those tires on this long run. So we'll see what's going to happen here. So again, still 16 laps to go. But you can see again, I think that's going to be the question: is where do you want to position your car? Do you want to try to make that guy go to the outside and kind of run the shorter way around, or do you want to maybe try to pin him to the inside and hurt his chances there? But you can see, though, it looks like the 81 is starting to get a little bit tight, and that's giving a big run here for Ryan Kelly. Ryan's going to jump to the top of that 83 car as we're going to head into turn number 1 side by side, or 15 laps to go. Right on the door of Todd there as they came out of turn number 2. And you can see the momentum that the top side is able to give to that 13 Ryan Kelly. So Ryan's going to jump to the bottom, try to protect the inside. And now Todd's going to try to see what he can do. But now Brandon's going to do the same thing. He tries to get to the top. However, you see he started pushing up a little bit there on the exit. So he's going to lose a lot of momentum there. So that's going to let Ryan Kelly sneak away just a little bit more here with 14 laps remaining. Right now our top 3 are the 3 are all together here up front. Say just a little further back is that 12 Robbie Richards. Say Robbie right now holding really strong here in that 4th position. However, he's still got Charles Teed right there behind him in 5th. Then you got Gabe Butler right there, as well as Jack Wall. So all these positions definitely up for grabs from 4th on back as things run. Say Craig Forsyth just a little further back in that 131 car. I say he's got his hands full with Eric Laurie right now for that 8th position. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that and wait and see how this race is going to keep unfolding. So I'm watching lap times again. Actually, right now, that last time by, quickest car on track is this 83 of Jack Walls. As you see, he is able to get around the 1 of Gabe Butler. So move Jack now up into 6th position. So you can see he's got 2 cars right in front of him that he can set his sights on and try to see if we can make that position happen here. See Jack again getting a really big run. So he looked high for a second. He's going to peek it down low. Catches the grass a little bit. Looks like just coming into the turn. So he's going to have the position on the inside. But again, though, the outside has such good momentum on the exit. And so you also see in the mirror there, Gabe Butler, he's trying to peek back to the top side of the 83. Can't quite get him, though. So they're going to hold in position here right now. Again, this is the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th position here. Say right now with Robbie Richards in that 4th position, trying to keep these guys at bay. Up front, though, Ryan Kelly still able to stretch the lead out just a little bit now, just over 0.6 of a second in that number 13 car. You see, again, Todd Merkel here in that second spot. And they're starting to sneak away just a little bit from Brandon Passalacqua. I think Brandon may have tried to go a little bit too hard too early, and that's what's starting to bite him in that 23 machine. So say these drivers all here right now still having a pretty comfortable lead, though, over that number 12 of Robbie Richards. So again, we're going to keep an eye on the lap times as we have 10 laps remaining. Saying last time by, actually Todd Merkel just a little bit quicker though than Ryan Kelly. So you can see that gap still holding right around the 5 to 6 tenths of a second gap between the two of them. So say, again, we're definitely not going to see that number 81 car give up by any means here. As we jump back a little bit, you see Jack Walls now trying to work over the 27 of Charles Teague for the 5th position. And say they stay side by side off of turn number 4. So at the line, it looks like it's going to stay with Charles Teed here as we have 9 laps remaining. So I'm actually jumping back, so it looks like, oh yeah, so you can see 81 Todd Merkel starting to fall back a little bit. Definitely had something happen to him that last lap. He lost over half a second there to Ryan Kelly. So he had a moment there, probably trying to do all he could to try to chase him back down. And I said that's allowed Kevin Freeze to get on by. Kevin, unfortunately, showing 2 laps down in that 25 car. However, what he could do here is, I think we saw Maxwell trying to do as well. If Kevin can get to and around that 13 car, should there be a late caution, say not trying to jinx it or put it out there in the world, but that would be able to put him just 1 lap down, which would definitely help his chances for the remainder of this race. And right now things starting out just a little bit. Race leader still showing us this number 13 of Ryan Kelly. So he's going to come around here for 7 laps to go here at Charlotte. So right now showing still in second position is that 81 of Todd Merkel. He's got about a half a second or so on the 23 of Brandon Passalacqua. You see he's gotten around the 94 Maxwell Caldwell, so no traffic between the two of them here for the second position. And you see Todd running the inside line, I think trying to block the draft a little bit, break the draft a little bit from the 23 car. I say it's one of those things though, is you have to be careful not to look too much in your mirrors, because that's just going to really mess up your lines and going to hurt your times in the grand scheme of things. So Robbie Richards still holding solidly in 4th. He's actually been able to still keep that gap just a little bit ahead of that 83 of Jack Walls. So right now Robbie's still holding solidly in 4th position there. In 5th, as we mentioned, is that number 83 of Jack Walls. Right behind him, Gabe Butler in the 1. Then you got the 27 of Charles Teed there in 7th. And then right now, Eric Laurie in the 8th position has been able to get around that 131 of Craig Forsyth. And then right now, last friendly lap is the 7 of Dale Willoughby, who's about a half a lap or so behind the field here. As we have 5 laps to go for our leader, Ryan Kelly. And you can see Kevin Freeze still trying to keep after him. So they mentioned drivers that are right now showing a lap down. The 94 Maxwell Caldwell, first car 1 lap down. Then you have the 44 of Dwight Plesh. 2 down is that 25 of Kevin Freeze in the 13th position. Then you have Jim Brooks in 14th, 3 laps down. And Michael Spell in 15th, also 3 laps down. And I'll say James Ledford has retired from the event. Again, he missed the start, unfortunately, but has retired since then. So he's going to finish in the 16th position. And then Eric Schaus in 17th. Nicholas Winnick 18th, and Bud Steele in 19th. So let's say right now, we're going to keep an eye on this battle for a second. Right now is the 13 Ryan Kelly. He is checked out, as you can see, 2 seconds now over 81 Todd Merkel. And saying that's again, Ryan he didn't go too hard too early. He was able to kind of stay within touch, and then once it was time to go, he was able to do so and do so with some pretty good speed here. As now we're going to have a good battle here for that second spot. So let's see, is Brandon going to be able to get around this 81 of Todd Merkel there coming through turn number 2? You can see he gets to him, but then the outside line has still, again, some pretty decent momentum. You can see the 81 start clawing back that difference as they enter turn number 3. So we'll see now how they go through 3 and 4. I think if Todd Merkel, if he can keep him pinned to the inside and not get too tight, that could definitely open things up as we have 2 laps remaining here. So we also have a battle tightening up here for that 4th position. Say Robbie Richards has gotten caught by the 83 of Jack Walls. So we'll jump over there for just a moment here. You can see Jack, actually a little bit of contact between himself and the 12 car. Let's say Robbie able to hang on to it, but close call between the 2 of them there. Say costs Jack a little bit of momentum there to gather back up here. And see also Todd still able to hang on there. That being said, though, we are up front here. That is what that 13 car wanted to see. We are on the final lap here at Charlotte. Gabe Butler just got a mile and a half left to go. Coming through turn number 2, another set of corners to go for him. So we'll jump back and look at this battle here for that second spot. Todd Merkel still able to hang on to. You can see blocking the bottom. See, actually, Jack Walls has gotten around that number 12 of Robbie Richards here. So that being said, though, we got to go back to the start-finish line because coming to the line, that 13, Ryan Kelly, he is going to win race number 2 of the All-Star Week. Ryan Kelly gets the win. It's like Todd Merkel going to grab second over the 23 of Brandon Pasalacqua. And then right there for the 4th position, it looks like the 83 of Jack Walls able to get that 4th position over Robbie Richards. So I'll say that is going to be our top 5 here this evening at Charlotte. Great run for our leaders here. Say a really good race as well. Say only the 2 cautions in 100 laps. So great job for everybody tonight. Say nobody going to be happier right now than that 13 of Ryan Kelly getting the win this evening. You can see that 94 Maxwell Caldwell trying to congratulate him. They make a little bit of contact there, unfortunately, on that one. But Ryan's going to get things back pointed in the right direction. Do some celebrating, I'm sure, in that number 13 machine. So while we watch him, we'll get things ready and get some interviews done. There he goes, going through the start-finish line, doing some burnouts here. So again, I mentioned Ryan Kelly. He's going to win race number 2 of the 3 All-Star races this week for the Area 51 Racing League All-Star Week here tonight here at Charlotte. And then we'll have one more to go on Sunday, but Ryan Kelly burning it down right in front of our camera there. So I'm not sure if he knew we were there or not, but if he did, it was well planned there for that 13 machine. Alright, so let's go ahead and hunt down some drivers while we watch this 13 continue to do the burnouts up front here. So you see him parked there at the front. So now let's go ahead and hunt down our number 23 of Brandon Pasalacqua. So he was our 3rd place finisher this evening. Alright, so we're going to pull up our 3rd place finisher. So yes, we got Brandon Pasalacqua here, started in 3rd, finishes 3rd. So had a couple moments there where you're able to lead there, and then had at one point, obviously, you're fighting kind of a couple different cars there. You had to fight, obviously, earlier on with Maxwell Caldwell, then Todd Merkel, Ryan Kelly. So you had your hands full with a lot of that. And then, of course, having that caution right in the middle of that green flag cycle of pit stops. So did that kind of throw things off for you, or did it feel like you kind of cycled where you felt like you'd be regardless?
Oh yeah, we definitely cycled through exactly where we're supposed to be at. Ryan and I were Ryan was first, I was second. And that's where we kind of transitioned to after that caution during the green flag stop. So it was a lot of fun tonight, racing a lot of guys. Maxwell and Ryan, always fun fighting with them, and then Todd at the end drove his tail off and giving a lot of credit to him. But for me, qualifying 3rd, finishing 3rd, I guess we'll take it tonight.
Yes, I mean, again, it's a three race deal, so I mean, you got to do what you can, obviously, to get the best results you can each week. So, let's say obviously 3rd place, so definitely a good result for you tonight. Let's say it seemed like you had really good long run speed on that first run until the green. I think it was until the green flag pits up, and on this last run here, were you just maybe fighting a little bit too hard to try to hang on to lead? And is that what kind of did you in at the end? So it seemed like the tires kind of fell off on you.
Yeah, that was surprising for me on that last run with like 30 to go. Because the first one I did a really good job, I thought, running with Maxwell and Ryan, who are much better drivers than me, much more smooth with the wheel and can save tires better than I am. And being able to run with those 2 up front for that first stint made me feel like, I had something for them. I had a good long run car, which is what I was definitely going for. And then, I guess I was just driving too hard there with, 25 to 30 laps to go. I just wanted to keep the clean air and try to get as much of a gap as I could. But it looks like I was just driving it too hard during that run and not really realizing it. So definitely bit me there, but I was able to kind of come back and at least get back to second and battle it with Todd there at the end. So not too much of tire fall off. It made it a little bit difficult when you had the lap down cars, Kevin and Maxwell in that mix too. You had to give them their space as well because they showed a lot of pace. So very surprising on that last run, but definitely something I put in the memory bank for me to hopefully capitalize on the opportunity next time.
Yeah, so that's the thing is you can also use this, like you said, as kind of just a learning experience. Like, okay,
Absolutely.
mile and a half tracks, you kind of learn. It's like, okay, I can do this. This didn't. This worked. This didn't work. And yeah, so
Right.
you can kind of compare those first two runs that you had there to this one as well. But
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, that was again. I mean, a really, really good run for you tonight. So obviously, we'll have to see where the points shook out after this one because that's what's interesting about this is
Right.
it's not just a one and done deal. So like, Craig Forsyth was the leader going into this one. So he finishes ninth, so he's going to lose some
Okay.
points as well. So
Yeah.
I say it's gonna tie us saying that, and of course, coming to the next one's going to be our plate race here for the finale.
Right.
So. That's going to be anybody's game there, anybody's guess really as well to see how it's all going to shake
Right.
out. So, I say, well, we'll have to wait for points, of course, but I say, any thoughts going into the next one on Sunday?
Yeah, holy smokes! Now you should feel. Now you know what the NASCAR guys feel like going into Daytona for that final race of the regular season, and the kind of racing you saw last weekend at Talladega. But this is an awesome All Star week that Area 51 puts on. It's awesome seeing everybody kind of come from. You have your Indy guys driving stock cars and vice versa. And then we put us all together. It puts on a pretty good show, and it's just interesting to see where everybody's driving talents are in each type of car, and then to have it all come down to a super speedway at the end is just insane, and it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think the strategy there is obviously keeping it clean for the majority of the race and probably not get to racing too much until 10 to 15 laps to go. But the strategy for me was just to be consistent and get top 5 and top 10 finishes. I've yet to have a win here in the league, but just being at the top or top 10 or top 10 and top 5 has been great, and that's kind of been the game plan here on out. So Craig did a great job winning the Indy Series on Tuesday, and then Ryan, who I figured I'd be battling with today, he actually finished better than me on Tuesday as well. So I kind of have those guys earmarked to try to stay around for Sunday, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun to watch, and exactly like you said, I was kind of thinking the same thing. It's like you kind of know who you're going to be going after on some of these
Yeah,
races. So, and they've kind of done exactly what we expected. So, that
absolutely.
being said, I mean, again, great run tonight. So, say you got one more to go, but again, really good results. So, any thanks, shouts you'd like to give for that second place run tonight?
Absolutely. Thank you to you guys in the booth. Like I said, I love going back and watching the broadcast after. You guys do a great job, very descriptive and give a good analysis of the race. So I really appreciate that. Then to the admins, Area 51, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for putting this on. It's really, truly a blast to run this league, and I just really appreciate it. And then I have teammates at Dark Horse Racing. A few of us ran tonight, and it's just good to have those guys in there with me. Those guys are a lot of fun. So I really appreciate it from everybody.
I will say enjoy the second place run tonight, and say look forward to seeing you fight it out for the race number 3 and see who can get that All Star title here.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, that's that 23 of Brandon Paslawko starting third, finishing third. So we're going to jump now to our second place finisher, that number 81 of Todd Merkel. And so we mentioned to say he's just every race he's been improving, and say he's done it again here. So say we're going to pull in this number 81 of Todd Merkel. So he started fourth, able to grab the second place result here tonight. Say I don't know, were you going for kind of a two-stop strategy there instead of trying to stretch it all the way to the end, or say, well, I guess first, what was your thought on that one, and then obviously the caution probably a pretty opportune timing for you, and then from there, so you were just wheeling that thing to get up there and battling it out there for the win.
Yeah, my pit strategy actually kind of worked out pretty well tonight. I got into a little scuffle. Somebody spun out in front of me, and I had a little aero damage on lap 15 or so. Maybe it was lap 12, and then there was a little wreck there. So I needed to get fixed anyway, and So I got new tires and all that jazz at about lap 15. And I figured, well, if it's still going to be 2 more stops, I might as well split it up a little bit better and stop at lap 43. So it wound up being a little bit of a short pit. And, I was the fastest car on the track for quite a while there. And I guess the pit cycle, I think, had about come around and a caution came out. And I wound up first. Then some guys didn't stop, but I was still the first car on new tires.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Was I think when that caution came out, you had cycled either right back to the lead or just about at the lead. Because I know it was literally like lap difference between who had pitted and when. So, but then yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. Is like, all right, so now Todd's got slightly fresher tires than those guys are in front of him. Granted, I say it wasn't a lot, so I say it might be one of those things where, like, it feels good in the back of your mind. It's like, all right, I've got fresher tires than these guys. I'm gonna go get them. Where in reality, I think that was honestly just, I think, outright pace for you in that 81 machine tonight, because you were fighting hard there. Say you were able to keep that 23 at bay for a while, and then say we were joking, kind of Mr. Long Run Ryan Kelly. I say that's where he starts to show his muscle about like 15, 20 laps into the run. Say that's where that's where his strength really comes into play.
Oh yeah, I think I was about fifth on that last restart, and I wound up getting up to second pretty easily, and then I used up a little bit of tire getting to the lead, and then by the time Ryan Kelly got there, I didn't have too much left for him. Plus, he's extremely talented, so I didn't really want to fight him too much. I could see he was saving some tires, and yeah, and then I had a really nice battle for second with Brandon in the last 5 or 6 laps too. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a really exciting. So it was a really good fight there at the end too with you and Brandon. We saw him get to the inside of you, but that was the other thing actually, was that top line. I mean, that momentum actually really worked here tonight. Usually you kind of see a lot of these tracks are kind of just you got to be bottom feeding them, but this one, it was kind of a 50-50 where if you could really run the bottom, you could make good progress. But if you could keep the outside, that momentum going, you would definitely go somewhere. I saw you a couple times during the run. You made that top line work. You carried a lot of momentum on the exits. And was that kind of something you had in the back of your mind where it's like, if he's going to pass me, he's going to pass me high or low, I mean?
Yeah, well, I was just watching where he was going, and it depends on who it is that you can go around the outside of. Brandon's pretty solid, and I can count on him holding the line down there. You get the wrong kind of guy to the inside of you, and you can't make that outside work because they push up, and then you wind up pushing up to pretty much the third groove, and that gives you a little bit of trouble. But Brandon he's super solid.
Yeah, so it's good to be able to have those people you can race against and kind of have the trust and everything to run hard but run clean with. So again, you two put on a really good fight there at the end. It was a lot of fun to watch there and be a part of that one. So obviously you got 2 down, 1 more to go. So you got the plate race coming up. So we're still kind of waiting. Obviously, we don't know exactly what the standings are going to look like, but it should be. I think it's going to be a pretty exciting one going into this last race here on Sunday.
Yeah, this little 3-race series is a great opportunity that Area 51 has given us to kind of mix it up a little bit without worrying about points. And, it forced me to run the Indy cars, the other night, which is not my specialty. I didn't have a horrible night. I finished 8th. So, yeah, it's a good time.
All right, I'll say before I let you go, though, I know you got plenty of sponsors on the 81 car, so I'm going to let you brag about them a little bit. So I'll let you kind of give any thanks shouts you'd like to give for those guys that help you kind of be able to let you do this.
All right, I appreciate that. As always, I want to thank my buddies out at Ross Pistons. They helped me out on my real race car a bunch. Can't do it without them. Liberty's Gears, doing my stick shift transmissions. That works out great. Driven Oil hooks me up with some really fantastic motor oil for the real race car. And I appreciate all their help. And as always, I really appreciate the work that you guys do at Green White Checkered TV and Area 51 for running this entire organization.
Yeah, so it's like, and you're exactly. I mean, I love being a part of this with Area 51 League. I say they put on a great show. So I just feel lucky to be able to be a part of it. So it's been a lot of fun. So I must admit, I miss being able to race with you guys as often as maybe I was able to before. But when you guys put on shows like this, it makes it pretty easy to do the booth part of things as well.
Well, we really enjoy the work you do.
So I appreciate that. So great rain again, Todd. I'll say we'll definitely see you again on Sunday, and I'll see if you're able to get that all-star win here in just a few more nights.
That'd be fantastic. Thanks. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, so that is our second place finisher, that number 81 of Todd Merkel. Now we got to jump up to our race winner, that number 13 here of Ryan Kelly. So we kind of joking about him being Mr. Long Run. So pull Ryan in here. So Ryan able to get the win. Had a couple times where he used that long run and kind of cruised back up to the front there and be able to try to control that race. But it seemed like I think people are starting to kind of learn a little bit from you and see what you're able to do on these long runs. Because that first run, Brandon was really keeping up with you there. But I don't know, maybe we're keeping some sandbags underneath that 13 cars. That second run, though, you kind of do what you do best and you set sail there at the end.
Yeah, it was saving tires was huge tonight, so that was probably the most important thing, to try and have speed at the end of the long run. So just did what I could and tried to stay up front. I feel like clean air kind of helped the car turn a little, and yeah, got the win.
So is it for you, like, is it at all like a risk versus reward kind of a thing where obviously like you don't want to give up too many spots to save your tires, but at the same time, if you just kind of fight for those positions, you're not going to be able to do that tire strategy you want to, and a race like this where, I mean, it's still a normal race length, but knowing it's kind of an all-star event, aggression might be a little bit more amplified, if you will. Were you at all concerned about maybe drivers driving a little bit too aggressively to not make your strategy work out there?
Not really. I trust in all the drivers, and tonight was another good race with only a few cautions, and I know we had a all green race for our last cup race, so I trust in everyone to give room and race with respect, and another good race tonight with everybody doing that.
Yeah, no, like I say, it was a really good one. Again, only the 2 cautions for a 100-lap race. That's a really good job. Obviously, the kind of the caution in the middle of the pit cycle threw things off just a little bit, so they didn't change too much. I said we saw a little bit of stuff happen there with the caution cycle with some pit penalties and things like that. But as a whole, though, I mean, it was pretty much you were having to fight obviously early on Maxwell, but then it was also Brandon Todd. So I mean, I say it was kind of in a way kind of the usual suspects up front there, fighting for the win here. Or at least battling for the lead, especially early on as well. But one thing I was mentioning to Todd about too was, were you surprised at all about seeing how well the top line was working on the momentum side of things?
Yeah, the setup was a little bit tight tonight. It was a little tight, so the high line definitely worked later in the run once the tires started to wear. But I was surprised because normally Charlotte, the bottom is the dominant line.
Yeah, I would say it didn't seem to matter what line you were in. Once those tires wore out, I would say you were pretty much the one to beat, which has kind of been the way the seasons have gone for you lately. If you can get those long runs in, say you're the one to watch. So again, getting it done tonight, I think it's going to look pretty good for you in the points because I say you were showing up as, I got to find it here. You were 6th in the points here coming into this event. So I think you were obviously the highest finisher of those. So you might be going into this finale at the plate race here on Sunday with the lead going into this one. So any thoughts on that one? I say.
Yeah, I mean, Talladega, anything could happen. So hopefully try and stay up front and stay out of the wrecks and hopefully bring the All-Star Championship home.
All right, I'll say congrats again, Ryan. Say that actually before I let you go, say I'm skipping a step here. I gotta give you your opportunity. Thanks, shouts you'd like to give for pulling off the win this evening.
Yeah, just my teammate Maxwell for this race, and thank you to all the admins for putting on the league, and thank you to you, Green White Checkered.
Congrats again, Ryan. So look forward to catching you on Sunday, and say we're gonna be battling out for that Season 5 All-Star title.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, that's our race winner, that number 13 of Ryan Kelly. So while we watch him do some more burnouts here, let's go through our final results. So winning the race tonight, Ryan Kelly, about a 3-second win there over Todd Merkel, able to hang on to that second spot over the 23 of Brandon Pasalacqua. Jack Walls brings it back home in 4th position. Robbie Richards in 5th. Then you got Gabe Butler 6th. Charles Teed in 7th. Eric Laurie 8th. Craig Forsyth in 9th. And Dale Willoughby rounding out the top 10 this evening. And the remainder of the results here this evening, you got Maxwell Caldwell. Unfortunately, had that, I believe, a pit penalty there that cost him dearly this evening. And you got Dwight Plush, Kevin Freeze, Jim Brooks, Michael Spell, James Ledford, Eric Schaus, Nicholas Winook, and Bud Steele rounding out the remaining results here. So again, say 2 down, 1 more to go. We'll have to see how it's going to end up after Talladega. Say obviously we'll go through the points before the race there so we can see who's going to be where in the points position because it's going to be a tight one between a lot of these drivers. I say we saw the shuffle pretty quick between some of them. So it'll be really exciting to see how that one's all going to pan out. So that being said, again, really want to thank you all for joining me here tonight with Green White Checker TV, broadcasting the Area 51 Racing League. All-Star Week. I'll say again, Tuesday we had the Indy cars at Michigan. Tonight we had the Cup cars at Charlotte. And then on Sunday we're going to have the finale at Talladega with the Cup cars as well. So say again, happy Friday Eve to all of you. So hopefully you've had a good week. I'll say almost there. And yeah, so hope you enjoy your evening tonight. And then, of course, as always, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and have a good night.